Oh yeah, is it Thursday already? Wow, we got a lot to talk about today as episode 6 of The Acolyte, of course, came out just a few days ago, but we also have to talk about how there's only 2 more episodes left in this Acolyte show, and not only that, but we got some channel news as well. As yesterday, actually last night / this morning, we hit 60,000 subscribers. Oh yeah, what a great day indeed. 60,000 subscribers, absolutely insane. I cannot thank you guys enough for hitting that subscribe. It helps the channel out quite a bit, and 60,000 is just the next stepping stone to on our way to 100,000. And of course, we know at 100,000 I dumped this entire cup of water on my head, but that's just for another time, I guess. What's up, guys? How we doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? Let me open up the chat so we can say hi to everybody, and while I do, let's rank episode 6 of The Acolyte out of 10. Rank episode 6 in the chat right now out of 10. What did you think of that 6th episode of The Acolyte? Okay, let's say hi to everybody. Dead Mike, what is up? Jack Robbins in the house. Caveman, what's up? Brandon, how we doing? Freak Zeke, what's up? Robert, how we doing? Mr. Revenge, Jedi Journeys. Easy for me to say. Dominic, what's up? Joseph, how we doing? Abby in the house. B-Man, what's up? Nick, what is up? Did I get everybody? Christopher, Pam Hill, Mando United, what's up? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Rank this episode. Episode 6 out of 10, chat. What did we think? Bonjour. Ooh, are you from France, Thomas? Where's everybody at? Where's everybody from? Because today in the US of A, it is July 4th, and that is Independence Day. So huge shout out to all you Americans out there. Happy Independence Day. What do we rank this episode? Episode 6 out of 10. I see a 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5, 9.4, 9, 6, 8, 10. We are all over the place. 7, 5, 8.5, 6.6. Nice. 8, 9. All right, we are all over the place. Let's actually pull this up. I want to pull this up. I want to pull it up. Let's pull it up. Hang on. 1 second. Let's do this. What did you think of The Acolyte episode 6? So I have, of course, been online the last couple days, and I've seen the sort of divide, for lack of a better word, in the Star Wars fandom yet again when it comes to this episode. And it seems like last week, of course, episode 5 being how great that it was, fans were kind of united behind that one, for the most part. There's still some haters out there, but it seems like episode 5 was a beloved one. Then, fast forward to this week, the divisiveness has come back. So I'm interested to see where this poll ends up at. What do we think of episode 6 of The Acolyte? Did you love it? Did you like it? Was it meh? Or did you hate it? Did you hate it? Ontario, Canada? Nice. Pennsylvania? Ooh, cool. Okay. First of all, put in your vote there. We'll see where that ends up. We'll leave that up for a while. But let's talk about this 6th episode. What actually happened? Because a lot of fans are saying this was a filler episode or nothing really happened in this episode. But once you look closely, once you actually put on your glasses, I guess, because you might be blind, you'll see how much truly happened in this 6th episode. A lot of information was told to us. Yes, a lot of questions still remain, but there's still 2 episodes left. But a lot of information was given to us. No, Qimir did not just get naked for no reason. There's a lot behind that. And of course, it revealed his scars, which could be a connection to Vernestra Rwoh, but we'll get to that in just a second. Yes, we got sort of the Sith version of Luke training with Yoda or Luke training with Rey in The Last Jedi. We got that sort of Sith version of a training sequence in Star Wars, which was great. Soul has completely lost his mind. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's completely lost his mind. And he's gone rogue. And Vernestra Rwoh is now out in the field investigating herself. And maybe, just maybe, she might be pinning this entire thing on Master Soul himself. We have 2 episodes left. Just 2. That's it. And we got a lot of a lot of questions that still need answers. The biggest one being what the hell actually freaking happened on Brendok 16 years ago. It seems like we've been asking that question for 6 weeks now, because we have. And it seems like we're going to be getting the answers next week, but again, who knows? And the big question is, how's this show going to end? Is Sol going to die? Is Qimir going to die? Is Osha and May going to die? Is it going to lead into a second season? Is Plagueis going to show up? Is Tenebrous going to show up? There's so many unanswered questions going into the final 2 episodes, which we'll get to. But let's talk about episode 6 itself. So if you're just now coming in, because we got a bunch of new people coming in, rank this episode out of 10 in the chat. And let's see where we're at, chat. Let's see where we're at. Jedi Journey says, I give the episode a 9 out of 10 for the scar and the muscles. Okay. Mr. Revenge with the 1-month membership badge. I appreciate that, Mr. Revenge. I appreciate it. Dead Mike says, episode 6 didn't move the plot forward. Big letdown. The planet is still unconfirmed, bro. It was unconfirmed, but if you, again, look a little bit closer. And if you watch my breakdown video, here's the thing. Episode 6, this unknown planet that we all thought was going to be Octu, it's not. It's not Octu. Even Leslie Hedland herself has confirmed it is not Octu. Some fans are kind of relieved because that's another connection to the sequel trilogy, but it actually leads a way bigger door open to Plagueis and Tenebrous. As in the Plagueis novel, as somebody so generously pointed out in the watch party on Tuesday, in the Plagueis novel, there is this planet called Baldemnik, or Baldemnik. So this planet only exists in Legends for now, and it's a planet that is from the Plagueis novel, and this is what I'm talking about right here. Oh, wait, hang on. This is what I'm talking about right here. This planet, Baldemnik, sure, is from Legends, and it's a ocean planet with rocky tropical islands in the system, blah, 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 in the outer rim, hostile natives, blah, 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 blah. But this is the biggest thing. The planet's rich deposits of cortosis ore fell into the hands of the Sith Lords Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous. That is huge. I mean, that is massive information right there, because we saw the deposits of cortosis ore on the planet in episode 6. That is where Osha and Qimir are sitting. When Osha looks over at the wall and she sees all the cortosis in the rocks, that is because this is most likely, not confirmed, but most likely this planet from the Legends novel Darth Plagueis, and it's a direct connection to Plagueis and Tenebrous themselves. Now the big question remains, is this after? Have Plagueis and Tenebrous already been to this planet? And is Qimir the apprentice of one of these two Sith Lords? Maybe the apprentice of Tenebrous before Plagueis, or vice versa, the apprentice to Plagueis before Palpatine. Now that's a big question. What do you guys think? Is Qimir the apprentice to Tenebrous or Plagueis? What do we think? What do we think? It's the USA's birthday. Indeed it is. Kind of. Thomas says, not France, from the UK. So no one says bonjour, LOL. Oh, well, you said bonjour. Jack Robin says, we don't deal with that in the UK. Haha. Oh, the 4th of July? Yeah, I get that. I get that. No divide for me. It was a great episode, but I have so many questions yet again. There are a lot of questions, for sure. And by the way, this poll right off the bat is about 37% of you loved it, which is at the top of the list, which is pretty wild. I actually did not expect that at all. It's 4 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. Is that where you are, Mr. Revenge? That's crazy. Go to sleep. Christopher says, many seem to want lightsabers in fight scenes, but storytelling stuff is superb. Yeah, a lot of storytelling in this episode. It's almost the opposite of episode 5. Not that episode 5 didn't give us any storytelling, because it did, but it was a lot more lightsaber fights than it was storytelling. In this episode 6 was mostly, no, all storytelling and pretty much no lightsaber fights except for when Osha pulls out the lightsaber that one time. But this sixth episode did have the best fight sequence of the entire season so far. I mean, Basil. Are we forgetting? Basil was out there just giving us his best moves. You know, he's like kicking and he was punching and he was you know.
This is where the fun begins.
Don't sleep on Basil, okay? Don't sleep on Basil. But no, yeah, this was a lot more just storytelling rather than fight sequences. So the same people who were talking about how bad the storytelling is in this season were the same people who complained about the fight sequences in episode 5. All right, let's talk about it because Mr. Revenge said it. He was a damn Padawan. Qimir, the big reveal of this episode was that Qimir was once a Jedi. That's massive. Qimir was once a Jedi, confirmed by himself. But he says a long time ago. Not just a long time ago, a really long time ago. Because Osha says, I don't remember you, and I was with the Jedi Order 16 years ago, or 6 years ago. I was with the Jedi Order for 10 years, and I've never heard of you or seen you before. I don't recognize you in the slightest. And he says a really long time ago. But when you look at Qimir, he looks like he's probably in his 30s, 40s, maybe. What's going on here, chat? What's going on here? Chat? Is Qimir a lot older than we expect? How old is he really? That's the big question. So here's a big theory that I'm making a full-on video about right now, and that is this. Hang on. The Acolyte. When you look at this scene right here, of course, Qimir going for a swim. When you look at this, whoa, why is that so zoomed in? When you look at this scene right here, Qimir going for a swim, there's more reason behind this. He's not just going to take a bath or going for a swim for no reason. I actually think the waters behind him are more important than we think. And we also see inside of his home, if I can find that really quickly. I don't think I am going to be able to find it. But inside of his home, he has some sort of hot tub looking thing where it's the same waters inside of his cave. I actually think something's going on here that's another connection to Abaloth, not just his smiley face on his mask, but the waters that he's bathing in. I actually think Qimir could be over 100 years old and could have been with the Jedi Order a long, really long time ago, as he describes in this 6th episode. And this water is just keeping him younger. This planet we don't know anything about. It's an unknown planet rich with cortosis in the rocks. Could be this Legends planet that's a direct connection to Plagueis. But we also don't know anything else about this planet. Could this water be some sort of healing waters or keeping him young or Bacta-esque liquids? The Bacta tank in Star Wars has the ability to turn Boba Fett, who's covered in acid and burned all over, into a fully healed man. It also keeps Darth Vader alive for the long haul, Anakin Skywalker alive, but it has abilities of healing. There's other waters in Star Wars, however they may be legends, that have abilities that some consider to be unnatural. This brings us to Abaloth. You guys heard of Abaloth? Yeah? Abaloth, maybe? Sure? Yeah? The creepy, smiley-looking face... I'll show you who I'm talking about. Abaloth. The creepy, smiley-looking face girl who's supposed to be being introduced in the Ahsoka show. I know. I should have warned you guys. Jump scare alert. This is Abaloth. So she is most likely going to be in Ahsoka Season 2. She was set up in Season 1. And she is creepy, clearly, but she comes from Legends. And she comes from the Mortis gods. You have the Father, the Son, and the Daughter. The Father is the balance between them, the Daughter is the light side, and the Son is the dark side. But there was once a mother. And she goes for a swim inside of these very powerful waters, these wells, on the Mortis planet. It's actually on the planet before Mortis, but again, it's a big story. She goes for a swim and becomes way too powerful, absorbs all this power in the waters, and becomes a monster. So much so that the Mortis gods have to imprison her forever. And we know that the Mortis gods are now dead because of the Clone Wars, and now it's most likely that Abaloth is going to come to some power at some point in Ahsoka Season 2 and probably moving forward in the Star Wars galaxy after the original trilogy. But how does Abaloth then connect to Qimir? Well, not only in visuals, as we can see this creepy smiley face, and Qimir has a creepy smiley face on his mask as well, as people called him Smilo Ren or Darth Zipperface. But now we have a second connection. These waters, so to speak. The waters he is swimming in could be very similar to the ones that we see Abaloth swimming in as well. This is Abaloth climbing out of those waters there, creepily, and that's the daughter, that's the son, that's the father, and she becomes too powerful and they have to imprison her. But we could be seeing a similarity between that water and this one, as Qimir could be having some sort of fountain of youth type moment here where he's swimming in this water to stay young. And when he says a really long time ago he was a Jedi, he could be talking about hundreds of years ago. Not a couple years ago, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, hundreds of years ago. But tell me what you think. Is this possible? Could Qimir really be hundreds of years old in this Acolyte show? What do we think? Now, as you answer that in the chat, let me pose a different thing. He could be lying. He could be lying. That's true, Nick. He definitely could be lying. But why would he lie about that? Why would he lie about being a Jedi before and his master failing him? Doesn't seem like something you would kind of lie about. That brings us to the scar on his back. If I can show you this real quick. The scar on his back, which is going to be extremely important. I'm working on a full-on video right now that will come out tomorrow about this scar. But when he takes off his shirt, we see this massive scar on his back. And a lot of fans have drawn the connection between this scar, which looks like a whip to a back, like which happens in almost all cinema and television, is usually when you have scars on your back, it's because of a whip or something like that. And of course, Vernestra Rwoh's laser whip. And the connection might be Qimir was once Vernestra's Padawan. Now, Vernestra Rwoh is 100 and about 50 years old by the time of this Acolyte show. Around 100 to 150 years old, give or take a few years. She's born in 248 BBY. So around 150 years old. So at any point over the last 100 to 150 years, she could have had a Padawan, and that Padawan could have been Qimir. And 100 years ago is a long time ago. A really long time ago. And when Osha asks Qimir about the scars, his answers are probably the most important answers of the entire show. First of all, he answers a question with a question, says, "How do you think I got them?" And she said, "Somebody stabbed you in the back." And he says, "Yes, somebody I trusted." To which Osha says, "Your Jedi Master?" And he doesn't answer. Obviously, yes, it was his Jedi Master, and that could mean Vernestra Rwoh. I mean, look at that. Look at it. Look at it. I'm actually going to put this up in a poll, see where you guys are at with this. Do you think, let's pull this up, because this has over 100 votes right now, this other poll. Let's do this. By the way, with over 100 votes in, 34% of you loved it, 33% of you liked it, so that's already 67% of you guys loved or liked it. 28% said meh, and only 3% of you hated it, which is fan-frickin-tastic. Do you think, oh, wait, what the hell? Do you think, why can't I type today? Do you think Vernestra Rwoh is Qimir's former master? Yes or no? What do we think? Is Vernestra Qimir's former master? What do we think, Chad? Joseph says it's too obvious. Interesting. It's too obvious? Huh. Fascinating. I don't think it's too obvious because almost nobody, except for us here in the chat, has really noticed. I feel like a lot of fans missed this. The scar on his back versus the whip that Vernestra owns. I think a lot of normie fans don't understand that Vernestra Rwoh was in the High Republic books, and she's over 100 years old. And they don't understand that Qimir is most likely going to be revealed to be the former Padawan to Vernestra. So I don't know if it's too obvious. It might be too obvious to us, but that might be the same conversation about Qimir being the one under the mask and not possibly Mother Coral or Starkiller or like some crazy stuff like that. Yeah, no? All right, let me scroll up here for a second so I can catch up on these chats. GrillFitWarrior, what's up, says, I like watching everyone talk about the episode after each show. I need more backstory about Qimir. I think I could like his character if I learn more about him. Okay, interesting. I think you are going to get a lot of backstory to Qimir. Finding out that he was once a Jedi, there needs to be an explanation to that. And now Vernestra's character kind of coming into the whole scene is also going to cause for a big showdown, probably in episode 8, between former master and former apprentice. And that's probably where we will get a lot of explanation to that. Yeah. And holy crap, 78% of you guys so far think that, yes, Vernestra Rwoh is the former master to Qimir. That's crazy. That's absolutely wild. That's not only confirming that you think that that's the truth, but that means that you think Qimir is way older than he actually is. That's pretty wild. Everything connects to Ahsoka. Dave's in charge now, so everything connects to Ahsoka. Not necessarily because Dave's in charge, it connects to Ahsoka, but it connects to Ahsoka because of Abalo. It doesn't connect to Ahsoka specifically. Yeah. Nick says, Sol strapped down May and refused to wait for backup. He's definitely up to something. Sol is in a weird spot here. He's been keeping secrets for so long from the Jedi Order, from Osha, from everybody, that he's kind of lost his way, I think. And we've seen him really dive into his emotions, which Jedi are not supposed to do. And that could end pretty poorly for our good pal, Master Sol. Just all the emotion we've seen from him in episode 5 through episode 6, it's not going to go down well for him, I don't think. I really don't think so. But you tell me, what is Master Sol up to? That's my big question. What is he up to? Oh, Tony with a very generous $2 holla says, congrats on 60K. I appreciate it, Tony. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to Star Wars Sith, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Go do that. I appreciate it, Tony, quite a bit. That is very, very generous. And yes, 60K is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. Anything in this show is possible? Absolutely. Yeah, anything in this show is possible, and that was made clear with episode 5. I mean, 2 of our main characters, Yor, Jeki, dead like that. Stab Jeki through the chest 3 times, snap Yord's neck. Anything's possible. So nobody is really safe in this show. Sol being probably the biggest proponent of that. He could definitely die by the end of this series. But there's a big sort of group of people out there that thinks Vernestra Rwoh could be a bad guy. And by bad guy, I mean not like a Sith Lord, but she could be the villain of this show, or revealed to be from a certain point of view. Think about it from the beginning. Vernestra is trying to keep secrets from the Jedi almost immediately when she has her first conversation with Sol. Even in episode 4, was it? When she's sending out a secret group of Jedi to go investigate this stuff on Kofar, she's keeping secrets from the High Council. I think Vernestra is going to be revealed to be some sort of bad guy, not in the ways of her being a Sith, but to the rest of the characters of the show, she's going to sort of be the bad villain, or the villain of the show itself. Yeah, indeed. Oh my God, Tony with a very generous $5 holla says, Tenebrous or Plagueis showing up at the finale as Qimir's master, ? I'm gonna say yes, but I don't know which one anymore. There was a time where I thought it was going to be Plagueis. I was so certain it was going to be Plagueis. But now, I don't know. I think they could actually go down the route of Tenebrous and then bring in a young version of Plagueis for maybe season 2 or maybe season 3, if there is one. But I'm kind of honestly now leaning more towards Tenebrous for a few reasons. One, it is still 100 years before the prequels, so there would still be time to have Tenebrous have Qimir as an apprentice, and then Plagueis as an apprentice. Plagueis then overthrow Tenebrous, and then get his apprentice of Palpatine. There's plenty of time to do that. And in Legends, you have Darth Venomous, which a lot of fans tend to bring up over and over and over again. And Venomous is just another apprentice to Tenebrous. And Qimir could technically be that canon version of Venomous. So, do I think that that's definitely going to happen in the finale of this show? Yes. Do I know which one it's going to be, Tenebrous or Plagueis? I have no freaking clue, but I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. And I appreciate it, Tony. I really, really do. Yeah. Mike Fort says, there's no telling what he is or was. You talking about Qimir? I don't think Qimir's like hiding his identity. I think he's a human being. I don't think he's a shapeshifter or anything like that. I just think he's a lot older than we're led to believe. Yeah. Yeah. Steven says, you missed the opportunity for a topless podcast. That would have been pretty funny. I kind of wish I thought of that before. If I just came on here and I was just doing my Qimir impression without a shirt on, that would be pretty funny, I must say. Missed opportunity, Steven, for sure. Starchip66 says, I think Qimir could be hundreds of years old now. Yeah. Maybe 100 years old. I don't know if about hundreds of years old. Somebody brought up the fact that he could be Revan, and I'm like, no, he can't be Darth Revan. Revan was from thousands of years ago, and we're not talking like that old. Here's the thing. Qimir is extremely powerful. And when I say extremely powerful, I mean extremely powerful. He just killed 8 Jedi in the Force like it was nothing. Snapping people's necks, killing Jedi like it's his job. But he had to train for a long time to become that powerful. Not only from a master, which is probably Tenebrous, but also just in general, he has to train, and that takes time. Yeah. Yeah, Revan will be 4,000 years old. Exactly. He'd be thousands of years old. It doesn't make any sense. Jay, what's up? What is up? James says, none of you are smart enough to think of Moment. I have thought of Moment, I must say. Moment is, of course, the Sith Lord who enchanted the mask that's in Vader's castle on Mustafar. I think Moment is just too old at this point. Hang on, let's look it up. Why not? Let's look up how old Moment is supposed to be. All right, so Moment is canon for the most part. So it says Moment was born from somewhere between 1100 BBY to 1000 BBY. And then it says he died at 12 BBY on Mustafar. Oh, because he enchants the mask. I get you. So no, that would be hundreds of years, maybe even 1,000 years before the events of this Acolyte show. So I don't think it could be Moment. No, I do not. I mean, technically, if you're saying that this could be Moment because he could have been this old, then possibly. He's alive at the end of the High Republic. You mean the Old Republic or the High Republic? Hang on, let's check this out. So this is what James is talking about. Darth Moment is a canon character in Star Wars. Hang on, let's see. Now let's read this. Darth Moment, also known simply as Moment, was a humanoid male Sith Lord. So far, so good. That fits the description of Qimir. He's a dark side scholar and sculptor. At a young age, his artwork led to imprisonment by those who found it disturbing and repulsive. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Many years later, Darth Sidious recovered Moment's okay, let's see. But his deepest desire was to freeze people in time during their moments of terror. As the Jedi intervened during Moment's attempt, he lost control of the energy he wielded, and his physical body was destroyed, leaving only his mask with his consciousness inside. Many years later, Darth Sidious recovered Moment's mask from the Jedi Archives vault. So there you go. His body was destroyed 1,000 years ago. Yeah. So the mask is still around, but the mask we're looking at here is not Moment's. I like the theory though, James. I do. Indeed, I do. Mr. Revenge says he was as old as Vernestra, becoming a Jedi Master and perhaps her very first Padawan. He is as old. Okay. I think that's most likely what's going on here. I mean, the whip marks on his back seem to indicate that he's most likely Vernestra's former Padawan, which would make Qimir anywhere from 50 years old to 150 years old, which would be way before way before Osha's time. Yeah. Oh, Vexer 681 with his first ever super chat says nothing. If you have a chat, just throw it in the chat. I appreciate that quite a bit. Very generous, $5, but said absolutely nothing. No worries, James. I will keep it in mind for sure. I hope Moment comes into play at some point, because Moment's a really cool story, just the mask in general. And the story that's played out in the comics, Vader comics, is really, really cool. If they have any ability to change it into canon or live action, it is canon, live action, I should say, then I'd be fully down for that. Yeah. Yeah. The news wave says, I think he burned making a Hot Pocket. Okay, that could be it. So maybe he got these scars on his back from a Hot Pocket, is what you're saying? Vernestra Whip's Laser Whip, Hot Pocket. Honestly, leaning more towards Hot Pocket. No, I love the theory, though. Qimir had BDSM? I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to read it. Joseph says, the scar is too obvious. I don't think it was Vernestra. It was his Sith master that disregarded him. That could be the case, and I like the theory, Joseph, but he talks about being a former Jedi and that his former masters. A Hot Pocket sounds good right about now. I could go for a Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket? Hot Pocket. Where was I? He talks about being a former Jedi, and although it could be his former Sith master that gave him the scars, it seems like there was a reason that he had to leave the Jedi Order. And it would make sense that Vernestra Rwoh wasn't the greatest master, and maybe they didn't get along too well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm right not to read it then. I'm right not to read it then. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, whoever sent that. C. Lee says, are you thinking that she did that to him on purpose? Yes. Yes, I think Vernestra did use the laser whip on Qimir on purpose. Now, this could go many different ways. Vernestra Rwoh maybe goes through some sort of Luke Skywalker type thing where she doesn't trust her apprentice, and then it ends up with a battle happening. Or Qimir was evil from the beginning, and he always had thoughts of the dark side and saw through the lies of the Jedi, so to speak, like a Count Dooku or an Anakin. And maybe he was going down a dark path, which led to a confrontation between Vernestra and Qimir, which didn't end too well for either parties. But I don't know. Again, I don't know. Here's a crazy theory. What if this actually ends with Vernestra Rwoh using the laser whip on Chimir's back, and then she leaves him for dead, thinking that he's dead, like almost Obi-Wan leaves Anakin in the banks of the lava pits on Mustafar because he thinks that he's going to die there. Obi-Wan fully thinks that Anakin's going to die there. So a very similar situation here. Vernestra kills Qimir, thinks she kills Qimir, but he's alive. And a Sith, just like Palpatine comes to rescue Anakin, a Sith, maybe Tenebrous, comes to rescue Chimir's body and then puts him in these waters on this mysterious unknown planet to help heal him. I don't know. I think that might be the running theory right now. For me, it is, honestly. I think that's what's going to go down. So when Vernestra finds out that Qimir is still alive, when they come face to face to each other, they're going to be like, holy shit. Like, Venestra's going to be like, you're still alive? How is this possible? And maybe that's when we get some sort of explanation as to what happened all those years ago. That'd be kind of cool. That would be pretty damn cool if I do say so myself. Indeed. Rose, what's up? Oh. Razor T. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Oh yeah, Razor T, welcome to the people who love Star Wars at the Padawan level. I appreciate it quite a bit. You know I do. And if you guys weren't here at the beginning of the stream, we got to celebrate a little bit. Let's take a moment. Let's take a step back to celebrate because we just hit 60,000 subscribers. Oh yeah, 60K. Absolutely insane. I cannot thank you guys enough. I cannot emphasize it enough. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Where were we? I got distracted a little bit there. We went past the Hot Pockets. Okay, similar to Osha being disregarded from the Jedi. Yeah, Qimir and Osha have a very similar story, and I think that's why they go well together. I think Osha obviously left the Jedi Order for a reason. She says she failed. We don't know what that's about either. But Qimir leaves the Jedi Order for some reason. We don't know yet why he did. But they're very similar, and that's kind of what's going to give them a connection. Osha feels connected to Qimir. And this episode was so important, episode 6, because Osha falling to the dark side is a slow process. Like anybody who's going from being a good person, trusting completely in the Jedi Order, trusting completely in her former master's soul, it's going to take a while for her to fall to the dark side. This episode, episode 6, planted the seeds, and then when she finds out about what truly happened on Brendok 16 years ago, she's going to fall real quick. This episode planted the seeds of, okay, I might be able to fall to the dark side. Osha's kind of saying. She puts on the helmet. She's open to it. But when she finds out what Soul did, or what the Jedi did, and how they've been lying to her entire life, it's going to switch, and it's going to switch fast. And that's what leads me to believe that this show could end in a very dark place. A very dark place. Because Osha going to the dark side is probably not going to come back to the light anytime soon. Yeah. Caveman fan, I appreciate that. And if you have not yet subbed, do it. No, I appreciate it. We are young Dooku? What are you talking about? Where are you getting background information on her? On who? Vernestra? So Vernestra actually has background stories. Vernestra's one of only very few characters in this Acolyte show who has a backstory. It's a great question, actually. Vernestra Rwoh is from the High Republic books. Now, the High Republic books are on Phase 3, so there's... actually don't know how many there are at this point, but Vernestra Rwoh is in a lot of them. She's a lot younger in those books, but she is in the books nonetheless. Let's see. So look at this. This is Vernestra when she was a kid, early life. She was born around the year 248 BBY, joined the Jedi Order at a very young age, blah-bitty-bloobity blah. I believe she's 16 or 14 when she arrives in the High Republic. Like right here, she's a Padawan. But when we come back up here, whoops. Vernestra Rwoh was a Miralan female Jedi, sure, who lived during the High Republic era. She was also occasionally named Vern, nicknamed Vern, although she disliked it. Rwoh was also a Padawan to the Jedi Stellan Gios, who's one of the main characters of the High Republic books, promoted to the Jedi Knight ranking at the age of 15. There you go. She's been a Jedi Knight since age 15, making her the youngest Jedi to achieve that rank in a long time. Blah, blah, blah. She has a laser whip. 6 months after being knighted, she turned 16, and Rwoh's first proper Jedi mission was supervising blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so there's a lot of backstory when it comes to this character specifically. But there's a giant time gap between these stories and what happens in the Acolyte. So we don't know if she took on an apprentice that could be Qimir, and we don't know any of that other backstory. So she's the one who we have the most knowledge about of Soul, Osha, Qimir, May, any of the Jedi really in this show. We know the most about that Vernestra Rwoh character. Yeah. a very nonchalant Scar reveal? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Indeed it was. Mr. Revenge says, though Vernestra was Master Soul's master when he was a Padawan, maybe he is as old as Soul. I think he might be even older than Soul. And again, I don't know. But he might be older than Soul. And the one line that keeps coming back is when he says, I was a Jedi a long time ago. And Osha says, I don't remember you. And then he says, a really long time ago. So if Osha doesn't remember him, we're talking at least 20 years. And if Soul doesn't remember him, then we're talking at least, I don't know, how old Soul you think, 40, 50? You're talking over 50 years ago. Because Soul joined the Jedi when he was 4. So Qimir could be quite old. Yeah, quite old. Who else was jump scared when Osha put on the mask? I was jump scared when they jump scared us with Jeki's dead body. Like, what was that all about? You know? Qimir and Yord should have a pose down? I don't know what that means. A pose down? I really like your lives. They make my day. Wow, that just made my day. I appreciate that, Hirano. That is very nice of you to say. I appreciate your lives. Oh, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. I appreciate your life.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I appreciate it quite a bit. That just made my day. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Oh my God, you guys are so generous today. Secret Songs 20 with a very generous $5 holla. Says Qimir could be younger. Ahsoka did not know Grogu even though they were at the Jedi Temple at the same time. Vernestra is the only one sensing a shift. That's true. Vernestra is the only one who's talking about the scales being tipped, and that's probably because she has an emotional connection to this character, because it was probably her former Padawan. Ahsoka didn't know Grogu. That is true. There's a lot of Jedis at the Jedi Temple at the same time. Osha's only presuming that she would know who Qimir is because they're around the same age, so they would both be younglings / Padawans at the same time, and they would probably know each other. The difference between that and Ahsoka and Grogu is Grogu was kept a secret from almost a lot of Jedi. He was not really around a lot, we'll put it that way. So it's more like Ahsoka and Barazafi. They were both Padawans at the same time. They went on a few missions. Like, although there are a lot of Jedi, there aren't that many that are the same age. And Osha and Qimir, just from the looks of them, would be around the same age. And that's kind of what she's assuming, or what she's saying. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it quite a bit. I think I missed another one. Oh, yeah. Fede Jin, I think is what that says. I'm not too sure. But says, congrats on 60K. I appreciate that. The Acolyte is bueno. I believe that means good. Thanks. I appreciate that quite a bit. That is very, very generous. You guys are feeling generous today, and I appreciate it. I really, really do. Okay, let me scroll back up here. Oh, no, it's all gone. Shit. By the way, 83% of you guys right now think that Vernestra Rwoh could be the former master of Plagueis. I love your shirt. Thanks. You know, I was thinking, I don't have any, like, decorations for it being the 4th of July in the U.S., so I was like, what's my closest Star Wars shirt to that? And I was like, red, white, and blue. This is kind of blue. This is kind of red. I'm white, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was my thought process. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Vernestra is actually canon to an extent. Yeah, she's got a canon backstory for sure. Indeed. Kay, what's up? Qimir was forced to leave if he and Vernestra got into it. Yeah, I think we're going to see a very similar sort of leaving of the Jedi Order between Vernestra and Qimir as like Anakin and Obi-Wan. A forceful exit, so to speak. Yeah. Speaking with Collider, Leslie Hedland explained that the Acolyte Episode 7 will show what the biggest issue is with the Jedi Order. Interesting. I did not see that article, but that does make sense. So let's talk about the upcoming episode here. Episode 7. Episode 7 is supposed to be flashbacks. I think we all assume that episode 7 is going to be flashbacks to an extent to Brendok, so we can finally see the fight between Kelnaka and Sol and Torben and what truly happened to the witches. Who killed them? Was it the Jedi, or was it somebody else, or did they kill themselves, or whatever? We're going to finally get the truth. And I think episode 7 will be showing us the faults of the Jedi Order and what's really going on there. Pam with the very generous $2 holla. God damn. And didn't say anything. Pam, say something. Say something. Make it worth your money. God damn. AS says, I'm surprised by this content. I heard Disney didn't hire white guys.
I got a bad feeling about this.
That's a great one. See, I've been called a shill 1,000 times over again, and it just gets funny after a while, but that was a very funny, new, strategic way to call me a shill, and I really do appreciate that quite a bit. That might be the comment of the day so far. That's the comment of the day. I'm surprised by this content. I heard that Disney didn't hire white guys. Hilarious. That's the comment of the day. That's the comment of the day. That's so fucking funny. Okay, where was I? Fearless says, that's why the show is called The Acolyte. In the end, Qimir got his Acolyte, and it will be Osha. Interesting. That would mean this show is going to have a very dark end, and it's possible that Sol and even Vernestra could be killed by the end of this series. If the show is truly called The Acolyte because the Acolyte is going to win, or the Acolyte is going to be Osha and they're going to win the series, then this is going to be a pretty dark ending to a show. For sure. Yeah. Joseph says, the showrunner also said how viewers will see how far-flung particular missions with Jedi are, and the lack of oversight, implying what happened on Brendok is an issue and how their organization is set up. This information could also impact Rey in her upcoming new Jedi Order movie, as she is trying to rebuild a similar group as the one before the Empire. That's true. Rey is trying to build a Jedi Order, and even Luke tried to build the Jedi Order, but it's trying to build a Jedi Order that doesn't have the same flaws as the Jedi Order before, because the Jedi Order in the prequel trilogy is extremely flawed, and that's what we're seeing play out a little bit here in the Acolyte show, but you see it a ton more in the prequel trilogy. Yeah, it's insane. Actually, you guys want to see something crazy? You want to see something crazy? Talk about, you know how I always say that it's the minority of people who are talking, who are crapping all over this show, and who are the ones who crap on almost all Star Wars. It's just the minority of people who are screaming louder than everybody else. They might not think that's the case, but it truly is. And here's some evidence to support that. This has come from the Star Wars Holocron. Sorry, shout out to them. The Acolyte is the second most successful Star Wars series in terms of viewers and engagement, and it's only behind the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. This doesn't mean it's the second best show on Disney Plus by any means. I don't think Kenobi's even the first. I have Ahsoka and Mando both above that, and even Andor above that even too. And I don't think The Acolyte is the best show. I'm not sitting here going, The Acolyte's the greatest thing to ever exist. It's not. But this is telling. It's the second most viewed, interacted with engagement of any Disney Plus show, only behind Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan is only the biggest because of Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's the main two characters of Star Wars. It's wild. This is a very telling statistic. Very, very telling statistic. Don't believe everything you see online, because it might just be a bunch of hoopla. Yeah. So I'm still fully in the mindset that the minority of people are the ones screaming and yelling about how bad this show is, because we sit here with hundreds of people in the chat right now enjoying the show. And even if you're not like, this is the greatest show ever, which I'm not either, you're still enjoying it because it's Star Wars and it's pretty damn good. Yeah. Where was I? Leo says, is Vernestra evil in the Acolyte? I wouldn't say she's like evil. I'm not saying she's a Sith Lord, but I think it's more likely that she's probably going to be a not so good Jedi. A corrupted Jedi, nonetheless. Yeah. Mike Fort says, also, viewership dropped 60% from week 1 to week 2. I did not see that stat, but that doesn't surprise me. That does happen with almost every show ever. Yeah. No, this is not the record. The record is currently 375, which we set last week after episode 5 during the watch party, and we got up into the 300s again on Tuesday night, but no. That record is now 305. Ben!
Hello there.
What's up? Okay. Harrison says, Vernestra's appearance had changed a lot since the books. She lost all of her hair, stress maybe because she's just 150 years old, and she has all of her new head tattoos, which in Merillian culture, they get after hardships and losses. Interesting. I did not know that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, Vernestra has a lot of backstory to be told still. She has the most backstory of anybody else, but there's still a lot that needs to be revealed. It seems pretty unfair to be claiming that Hedland knows nothing about Star Wars when she's already incorporated some awesome EU lore stuff into canon. Yeah, I know. That again, that's just people saying something to just start a fight, or saying something that they believe is true when it's just clearly not. Leslie Hedland has been described to me many times over again as sort of the female version of Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni, we know, of course, is the GOAT. He's created some of the greatest Star Wars content to ever exist. Star Wars Rebels, The Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, you name it, he done it. But Leslie Hedland has proven to almost everybody that she knows what she's doing. Not only has this show towed the line between the Legends and canon, bringing in aspects of Legends into canon, while also not even coming close to changing any sort of canon information that already exists, retconning any canon, as they like to say. It hasn't done any of that. It's done an incredible job. Yeah. The helmet is another thing I found interesting. When Qimir was fighting the Jedi, he was blind and deaf, and he had to rely on the Force, and only the Force, to guide him. A Sith wouldn't have the intercom to do that. I don't know about intercom. It didn't seem very calm what he was doing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The helmet works as sort of a... What does he describe it as? What the hell does he say? You know what I mean. It works as sort of just... It takes away all of his senses. He can't see, he can't hear, he can't smell, he can't taste, he can't do anything. If he tries to taste, he's just licking the inside of a Cortosis mask. So he's just relying on the Force, and that's it, to sense his surroundings, and he's really in tune with the Force itself. I don't know if that would be an inner calm, because I'm sure he's got a lot of inner rage, but yeah, it is true. Without giving away anything in the books, she's been through some serious shit. I have heard that. Again, I've only read phase 1 of the High Republic books, so I'm not really familiar with Vernestra's character. She's only introduced in those. She's got more so story in the later stuff. But yeah, I've heard she's gone through some crazy stuff, for sure. Sol knew May was alive. He said he's been thinking about what he was going to tell her for 16 years. He lied to Osha and Vernestra and the Jedi. Yes and no. He did lie to the Jedi about what happened on Breaddock, but I don't think he lied about May being alive. That's a little bit different, because he actually thought that May was dead. He saw with his own 2 eyes May die. Deprivation chamber. Thank you, Freak Zeke. I could not think of that for the life of me. Deprivation chamber is what his mask is. Going back to what I was just saying, though, he did think that May was dead. He thought that May was dead for the last 16 years. He says, I was thinking for the last 16 years what I would say to you if I ever got the opportunity to talk to you again. He didn't assume that she was alive, but he was more so playing over in his head, if she is alive, what would I say to her? So he did think that she was dead. Yeah. Yeah. Mike Fort says, yeah, I never heard of cortosis being sensory deprivating. You're absolutely right. But it's a mask that covers everything. You can't see out of it, except for a tiny little slit this big. You can't see out of it. So how is he going to see and fight and use his senses when you can't? So it's not the cortosis ore itself that's being that's taking away his senses. It's the fact that it's a mask that covers his ears, covers his eyes, covers his nose. It doesn't matter what it's made out of. It takes away all of his senses. Indeed. Jedi Journey with his first ever super chat, very generous $5 hollow, says, I hope Soul is redeemed in that he didn't kill any of the witches, but he did keep that a secret. He is needed in the next series as failed Jedi Master to Osha. So you want him in season 2, you're saying? I got a bad feeling about this one. I think Soul's going to be really not just him, but him and the other Jedi there with him, and Dara and others, they're going to be to blame. And they're going to be the ones who have to make up for their issues. The only problem is Soul's the only one who's alive still. Yeah. But I appreciate it. I really, really do. But I wouldn't hold your breath that Soul's going to get redeemed. He might just die and really be seen as a bad guy. Not a bad guy, but, a bad guy. The Wizard Cat says, in Spanish, her name sounds funny. Master Vernestra? Is master in Spanish? I did not know that. Kay says, no, but I like getting a perspective from the perspective from the mask. Oh yeah, inside the mask. That was cool. Indeed. Freak Seek says, a lot of critical fans don't read the books, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a lot of just not knowing what's going on at the same time as trying to critique what's going on. Yeah. I just spilled water on myself. Drink much, Mike? Damn. Cheapers. Okay, where was I? Trash compactor scene for the win? Oh, yeah.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Indeed. Speaking with Collider, Hedland revealed more about how people leave the Jedi, explaining that there's a heartbreaking ceremony involved in that process. Yeah, we've seen characters leave the Jedi Order before, in different ways. Dooku leaves it and falls to the dark side. So does Anakin, but it's way different. It ends with, you were the chosen one. No. But then you have, like, Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, which is more of a peaceful leaving, so to speak. Yeah. You have different versions of it. And I wonder how Qimir's is going to go. The Wizard Cat says, Mike, you are the best. Pardon me if I sometimes want to use my red lightsaber with certain characters. I appreciate the first sentiment, but what? Ahsoka didn't know Baylan. That's true. Ahsoka did not know Baylan. But Baylan knew her. Again, Baylan was a lot older than Ahsoka. That is true, too. Yeah. Soundwave, what's up? Rose says, hey, Mike, glad to be back after a while. Turns out I have COVID, so I'm spending my 4th of July at home. Glad you're doing a live stream. Well, Rose, that's a big old bummer. I hope you're feeling okay, and I hope you get better. Light off some fireworks, Just outside, not inside your house. Harrison says, also, Vernestra didn't like going through hyperspace because one of her Force abilities is that she has visions of potential futures, kind of like Anakin while dreaming. Interesting. Vernestra did not like space travel, and that was made clear in this episode. And she's clearly got a bunch of powers. She uses the Force Echo, so to speak, in the episode where she goes to Kofar and she senses what happened here. She hears the battle. We've seen Ahsoka use that. We've seen Cal Kestis use that. But very few Jedi have that ability. And Venestra's clearly a powerful one. She's been around for 150 years. Only Jedi who've been around for that long. I guess that's not usually the case. But she is very powerful nonetheless. Yeah. Oh, I just scrolled down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I hate it when that happens. Now I gotta scroll all the way back up. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Where the hell was I? Oh my god. Could you do Obi-Wan or Darth Maul? Oh, for your super chat, Pam? Absolutely. Okay. Could I do Obi-Wan or Darth Maul? Let me do my Maul Kenobi impression, okay? My Maul doing the Kenobi scream impression. Let me tap in. Hang on. Hang on. I told you, my impressions are not going to be good. But if you send in a super chat, I'll do any Star Wars impression you want. It just won't be good. Let's see. In my mind's eye. Kenobi. Kenobi! Pam, I hope that was sufficient. I just lost my entire voice. And I might have broke my microphone. Lost my headset too. What the hell? Fixed it. That's just like hang on.
This is where the fun begins.
You need more bass in your voice? Should I try it again? In my mind's eye. Kenobi. 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 Okay, where was I? I appreciate it, Pam. Where was I? They lost the card to play when Ki-Adi-Mundi showed up. They lost that card to play when Ki-Adi-Mundi showed up. What card to play? How many more Jedi do you think will die in the Acolyte show? That's a great question. I think 2. And I think the 2 are going to be... actually, I don't know anymore. Because Vernestra has a group of Jedi with her. And I could see all of them dying. Mog and the rest. I could see all of them dying too. So, maybe Qimir goes on another killing spree in episode 4 or 5. I mean, episode 7 or 8. We could see that. So, maybe multiple. But if I were to guess just 2, I would say probably Soul and Vernestra. Yeah. Whew, that really took it out of me. Okay. Hey, here from Jamaica. Oh, what's up? Jamaica, that's cool. Always wanted to go. Do you think Qimir is going to kill his master? No. I think it's... Are you saying his Sith master or Vernestra? His Sith master, no. I actually think it's more likely that his Sith master, whether it's Plagueis or Tenebrous, is going to come in and kill him for exposing the Sith to the Jedi when they're not supposed to be. I think Qimir is going to be in deep doo-doo this time. Yeah. Yeah. If Sol really wanted to save both twins, why didn't he go after May if he knew she was still alive? Well, he didn't. He didn't know she was still alive. He did not. He saw her die, at least from his point of view. He saw her die. She falls to her doom at the end of episode 3. Yeah. Indeed. Cole says, not necessarily, but I do love Star Wars, and I think we should all be able to enjoy it together. Hate leads to the dark side. That is true. That is true. Nothing wrong with the bad guys winning. The Empire Strikes Back with was the jewel in the crown, and the bad guys won that. Absolutely. I actually think some of the best Star Wars stuff is the bad guys winning. Order 66, Revenge of the Sith. Of course, Empire Strikes Back. Trying to think where else did the bad guys win at. Oh, Rogue One. Some of the best Star Wars projects happen to have the bad guys winning. So it's not always the worst thing having the bad guys win. Indeed. Dominic says, only me that found Qimir's pitch to the dark side extremely convincing. Yeah, I have notes for the live stream today, as I usually do. And one of my notes says, wait, where was it? What? Where did I put? Oh, there it is. It says, Qimir wanting me to join the dark side too. He took seducing to the dark side to a whole new level. Yeah, no, Qimir, his pitch to the dark side honestly has everybody rethinking the balance between light and the dark. And it's the Jedi's, it's their fault. The Jedi make these rules that shouldn't be put into place. And those rules cause for rebellion against the rules. And that's where Qimir comes into play. Yeah. Sixth Element of Hip Hop says, like I said, I honestly love to really discuss without any nonsense and politics aspects being brought up at any time, in any point, out of blatant canon breaking or lore breaking, etc. Hang on, let me try that. I honestly love discussing without any nonsensical politics being brought up at any time. Well, then you're in the right place, because we just talk Star Wars here, and we don't bring any of that shit into it. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Christopher. There you go. Where was I? Christopher says, I think people have been waiting for something different in Star Wars instead of just churning and burning legacy characters all the time. Yeah, no, this is a big thing. The Acolyte has obviously been met with some discourse, clearly. But it is something new. It's for the first time in a long time, something new. And it's the first thing so far in live action that is away from the Skywalker saga. And that's going to be met with a lot of controversy and division in the Star Wars fandom, because fans love those characters. They love the legacy characters of Anakin, of Obi-Wan, of Luke, of Leia, of all of them, Ahsoka, even the Mandalorian characters. But when you go to something new, it's always going to be met with some backlash for sure. And I think they've done an incredible job with this series so far. Indeed. Acolyte is Disney's best launch in 2024. Yeah. But honestly, that's sort of a iffy statistic, because so far they haven't really had that many big things. Their second biggest was, I believe, X-Men 97. Then they had like Echo. So they haven't really had that many big... Bad Batch Season 3, of course. But they haven't had really that many big releases. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. They definitely have enough material for at least 2 or 3 more seasons. What's up, Carbonite Jedi? I think they could definitely do a second season. I think there's definitely a lot of room for many more seasons in this time period. But it all depends on how this season ends. If Plagueis is revealed, if Tenebrous is revealed, then you definitely have more story to tell. But it really depends on who survives. Because if Soul dies, if Vernestra dies, then who's going to be your main characters moving forward? They're all dead. So yeah, it all depends on how this show ends for sure. Indeed. The keyword is engagement. That means people talking about things online. It doesn't mean views for the show. Well, it also says streaming views and engagement. Indeed. Indeed. I'm not saying that it's the best show, but it definitely has me intrigued. Oh yeah, it's definitely not the best show. For me, it's not even close. There's still 2 episodes left, obviously, but I don't think it'll ever pass The Mandalorian or Ahsoka for me. But that's not to say that it's not a good show. Yeah. Mr. Revenge says, Sidious was hiding underneath the Jedi's noses. I'm sure Vernestra is doing the same thing. The Jedi Temple was built on top of a Sith Temple. True. That is true. Palpatine is the perfect example of hiding right underneath your nose. I don't think Vernestra is a Sith Lord, though. That's kind of what you're saying there. I don't think Vernestra is a Sith Lord. I just think she's sort of a corrupted Jedi, and she's probably the perfect example of a corrupted Jedi. Yeah. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bumper. Damn. While we're at it, should we just celebrate again? Let's just celebrate. Never gets old. Never gets old. Okay. Fearless says, I mean, if that scar on Qimir's back is from Vernestra's light whip, then it is really not the Jedi way. Why was she driven to do something so horrible? Yeah, and the biggest thing is that it's on her back. I mean, on his back, sorry. It's on his back. And it's been said over and over and over again that the Jedi cannot attack somebody who's unarmed with their back turned to them. It's not the Jedi way. And in episode 5, it's explained. In episode 6, it's explained. So clearly, if Vernestra is the one who gave him that scar on his back, she did it with her laser whip, and she did it while his back was turned to him. Not the Jedi way. Definitely not the Jedi way. Yeah. Which is crazy. Fearless. Great catch. Yeah. The Carbonite Jedi says, LOL, I'm the exact opposite. Andor and the Acolyte are my least favorites, and Kenobi and the Mandalorian are my favorites. Yeah. When you look at Star Wars and you look at the fandom, it's the perfect example of there's different tastes in the world. And that's what Star Wars is all about. People love the original trilogy. Some people hate the prequel trilogy, like absolutely hate it, which is insane because I think the prequel trilogy is so good, so almost that it's at the same level as the original trilogy. Then you have projects like Andor. Andor is so divided. You have people who are like bricks and screws in Star Wars, and then you have people who are like, this show is the greatest thing to ever come from Star Wars. The writing's incredible, the directing's incredible, the acting's incredible, blah, 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 over and over again. I love Andor. I'm not that level of love Andor, but I am definitely on the love Andor train. But people still hate Andor. Same thing happened with Ahsoka. Everybody loved it. Or, sorry, not everybody. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Even The Mandalorian, which seems to be the most beloved thing, even season 2 of The Mandalorian, which is pretty much the best thing, is hated by a lot of fans. It's wild. So you're never going to find a Star Wars project, never, ever, that people don't, that 100% of people love. We'll put it that way. Even the original Star Wars, even Empire, even Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks, don't even get me started. The Ewoks, the amount of people who don't like that, the fact that bears beat the Empire, it's wild. So you're never going to find a Star Wars project, ever, that is 100% of people who love it. You're always going to have haters. Yeah. For sure. So some people, like the Carbonite Jedi, might hate Andor, or not hate, but dislike Andor, dislike the Acolyte, and love Kenobi. Well, some people might hate Kenobi and love Andor, and love the Acolyte. It's called having your own opinion. Ever heard of it? Yeah. Hello from Brazil. Ooh, Brazil. Nice. We are all over the place today. I got to go rewatch episode 6 this weekend. I restream every episode since episode 1, always on the weekends after. Yeah, I rewatched the episodes quite a bit throughout the week. I've seen this episode probably 3.5-ish times. I mean, my breakdown rewatch is not really a rewatch. How many times have you guys watched episode 6? How many times you rewatched it through? I'm probably at 3. I'd say 3.5, but 3. Yeah. Yeah. Joseph says that Hedland said, quote, so in my opinion, Osha is extremely in denial about her own anger at the Jedi and at her father, aka Soul. At her father's soul. It's not actually her father. It's just more so mentor of a father. But yeah, she's clearly in denial. And a lot of it is starting to come out. You see her, of course, ignite the lightsaber and go into that rage. That's the dark side coming out. But you're going to see that come to fruition once she realizes what the Jedi did to her family and that Soul's been lying to her her entire freaking life. Yeah. Indeed. Mike Ford says, I like the introduction of cortosis, but they could have spent 5 seconds referencing it in episode 5. The only reason I knew about it was because of Darth Bane's arc. Well, yeah, they explained what it is in episode 6. Yeah. That was sort of like a episode 5, if you know, you know type thing, and then episode 6 will explain it for you. Yeah. Episode 5 was one of the best Star Wars episodes I've seen in a while. Anyone trash-talking the Acolyte after Episode 5 has lost all credibility. I mean, I would agree with that, but again, if you still don't like the show, you don't like the show, and that's your opinion, and I can't change that, and I'm not here to change that anyway. But I agree with you. Episode 5 of this Acolyte show is probably one of the greatest episodes of Disney Plus Star Wars shows ever. It's up there with Ahsoka Episode 5, Mando's Season 2 finale, the Jedi episode in Mando, From the Desert Comes a Stranger in the Book of Boba Fett, One Way Out in Andor, the finale of Kenobi. It's up there with those episodes. It's up there on that same level. And when you have that, it's like, come on. It's amazing. So, yeah. Yeah. Cole Rita says, I respect the EU love. I read a vast majority of those stories, but the EU is not canon anymore. Something new and potentially better is to take its place. Yes and no. There's a lot of cool stories in the EU, but there's also a lot of just crazy stuff that would never happen. So the best part is that Dave Filoni and others are taking aspects of Legends and bringing them into canon, changing them a little bit, but also just bringing aspects into canon, like Cortosis, like possibly this planet that's from the Plagueis novel, or characters like Grand Admiral Thrawn, who was, of course, created in Legends and now brought into canon. Is Qimir hot? Like, temperature-wise? I don't know. I'd have to get the thermometer out. Yeah. Joseph says, and she had... wait, what? Oh. That's from something else. Dominic says, funny enough, the canon that says is that they say is being retconned is Legends lore, which is exactly defined as not canon. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. It really doesn't even make sense, but it's funny. I appreciate you, Cole. I appreciate you. Oh my God, did we... Holy crap, hang on. Okay. I'm extremely far behind on these chats. Mike, I like your passion for the channel. You're doing great. Keep it up. We love all fans. I appreciate that, Sixth Element. I really, really do. I really, really do. Okay, let's talk about this. Wait. What the heck? Okay, let's talk about this. There is still... Wait, what? Oh, there we go.
Star Wars.
There is still scenes from trailers that we haven't seen yet. Now, what the hell?
Wars returns, and it's certified fresh.
We saw that in the last episode. The laser whip is here. We got it. But there are scenes... Go to here. This is Indara looking out at probably the fire on Brendok or an explosion on Brendok as they're flying in to come help the Jedi. Alex, what's up? We haven't seen that yet. Kelnaka being corrupted by the Night Sisters, or sorry, not Night Sisters, by the witches, not Night Sisters, witches, in fighting against Sol and Torben. We haven't seen that yet. This is all probably coming in episode 7. And then we did see this. And yes, it was OSHA. And no, it was not flashbacks. Shout out to Star Wars Santa. And we saw that in the last episode. We've seen that already. Yeah. So really the only scenes left from these trailers are just the flashbacks of what's happening on Brendok 16 years ago. And that's all going to be seen in this 7th episode. And that's where things get pretty damn interesting. How and why did the Jedi kill the witches? It's going to be pretty crazy. Throw in your craziest predictions, of course, in the chat. But the real question I have for you guys is, how does this show end? We have 2 episodes left. Most likely episode 7 is going to be all about flashbacks, what happened on Brendok, what truly happened on Brendok. But how does this show end? Leslie Hedland claims that this show is going to end with a definitive ending, meaning it's going to actually have an ending. Scott West, what's up? But what does that look like? What does that mean? Who's going to survive? Who's going to die? How does this actually come to an end? What is the story here that ends? I hope we get an actual ending. I think you will. I think you will. Will Basil survive? I hope so. Basil's the best. Basil's the best. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we should believe that everything Soul says. I don't think we should believe anything Soul says really because he's been lying for quite a bit. Yeah. He's absolutely been lying. Wait, what? I didn't delete his message. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mr. Revenge, you can't send links in the chat. That's my fault. There's an AI bot in here that doesn't allow that. I apologize. I was like, what the hell? I didn't delete those chats. Okay, where was I? Soul's a badass character? Yeah, he is. He for sure is. He for sure is. Brett says, I think Soul is also protecting Osha from things that he knows about when it comes to the Witch's Coven. I don't know. I really don't think so. I think Soul is kind of just going to be a bad guy. Not like a bad guy, but you know what I mean. He's lying to them. He's lying to all of them. Yeah. The Acolyte was supposed to be a story of the villains. It doesn't. If it doesn't end up with somebody embracing the dark side, I will be disappointed. Interesting. Well, it looks like it's going to be that way because Osha's probably going to be falling to the dark side very, very soon. And I don't see her in 2 episodes coming back to the light. So I think it is going to end with Osha's fall to the dark side. Yeah. Tony says, Osha will kill Soul in episode 8. Now that would be a crazy twist. If Osha is the one who kills Soul, that would be wild. Secret Song says, why would Soul hide anything if he didn't do anything wrong? Why did he refuse to go back and check if May or anyone else was alive? Well, because he saw May fall, assuming that she died, and he's probably the one who killed all the witches. Now, why would he lie? That's a great question. Well, first of all, he's lying because it's Osha, and she's 8 years old. And if she tells her that the Jedi are the ones who just killed her family, then she's not going to want to become a Jedi, and she's not going to trust them, and she's going to become this menace to society, and she has no family. So the Jedi are kind of just taking her in as a foundling almost, like the Mandalorians. But she has no family, and they're not about to go tell her that the Jedi are the ones who killed her family. So that's why he's keeping the secrets. Yeah. Mike, what do you think Soul is up to? That's a great question. And honestly, I don't know. Why is Soul not waiting for the Jedi to come help? Probably because he thinks he's got to go save Osha himself and make up for all the wrongdoing that he's done before. He's clearly going to tell May what happened all those years ago on Brendok. But what is his end goal? I don't know. I really don't know what Soul's end goal is here. We know that eventually he's going to end up on Brendok. I'll show you this. Master. This behind the scenes shot from before the show even aired of Master Soul on Brendok. On a current day Brendok. Wait, what? Current day Brendok. Right here. That's Master Soul. It's all overgrown. This is behind the scenes clearly. And he's got the longer hair. So they're going back to Brendok at some point. That's where he's going. I don't know how. I don't know why. But they're going back to Brendok. To face his fears, I guess. To face his past. It's going to be very interesting. I really don't know. I don't know what Soul's going to do. I don't know what his end goal is here. But I'm interested. Oh, just go down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Qimir asks Soul if he's going to hit him while his back is turned to him. That's true. No, Soul fully attacks him when his back is turned to him. Yeah. Wait, what? Is that true? There's no way we only have 11 likes here. No, we got... Can we smash a freaking like on this stream? 11 likes? That you almost got me there. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Yeah. Kay says, there's content for everyone now, and that's great. You don't have to like all of it, but you can understand that others might. The back half of that is what some people struggle to do. They struggle to see that some fans can like certain things that they don't like. It's just something that happens, you know? I didn't hate Ahsoka, but I didn't care for it either. I get that, but I think Ahsoka is my favorite thing that has come from Star Wars in the last decade. It is my favorite thing. Like, it's because I'm a huge Rebels fan. It's because I'm a huge fan of Ahsoka in general, obviously, and a Mando fan, and it all kind of comes together into that show specifically. But that's me personally. Like, I don't expect everybody to love Ahsoka the same way that I do, you know? Jedi Journey says, I only don't like the sequels and Rey's ancestry. She is definitely a Kenobi. Obi-Wan even said he had a brother in the Kenobi series. So you think that it's like Obi-Wan's niece would be Rey? We know that Obi-Wan definitely didn't have a kid. I mean, maybe with Satine, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. So she wouldn't really be able to be a Kenobi. But, yeah. Fearless says, why should Vernestra be a Sith? She is just plain ignorant and rigid to see it coming. If you notice, the Jedi in this show are really kind of just arrogant, even the Padawans. I wouldn't say they're arrogant. I think they just don't know. You know? It's been 900 years since the Sith have been around. So why would they assume that the Sith have been coming back? That doesn't make any sense. So they're not arrogant, they're just unknowing. The Sith have caught them by surprise here. But I don't think Vernestra's a Sith, I just think she's a corrupted Jedi. Yeah. Indeed. Oh, Rose with the very generous $2 holla says, time for a Jabba the Hutt impression. Okay. I can do a Jabba. I gotta... All right, let's see. I don't want to hype myself up too much. My Jabba's terrible, okay? But let's see. This is with no prior, no looking up Jabba impression, no nothing. This is just straight off the dome, okay? Here we go. Here we go. Ho, 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 ho. I don't know. He doesn't speak English. Hang on. That was a good start. Hang on. Ho, ho. Now I gotta look something up because I don't know what to say. Hang on. Hang on. Jabba the Hutt. Talking. Here we go. Kind of looks like me, no? You guys see the similarities? Yeah? Something like that? He's one handsome fellow.
Good morning. Allow me to introduce my...
Okay, I'll just say that. Okay, you ready? Oh, shoot. I can't get my voice that low. Hang on. Hang on. Let me try one more time. One more time. Oh, shoot. I can't do it. It's pretty good, though. I like it. Jabba's an underrated character in Star Wars, and as somebody mentioned last week in a live stream, Jabba could be alive at the time of this Acolyte show. He's definitely alive by the time of this Acolyte show, I should say. It's more of a matter, will he show up in this Acolyte show? He probably won't, but he is technically alive. I appreciate it, Rose. I really do. Brett says, I disagree. A Jedi could attack somebody if their back was turned to stop them from hurting others. But that's not the Jedi way. That's what they can't do. You're not supposed to attack somebody with a... I get what you're saying. If somebody's like attacking somebody else, then maybe. And maybe that's what's going on. But I don't know. We'll see. The Hutts live up to 500 years old. Yeah. Let's see how old Jabba actually is. How old is Jabba when he dies? Jabba is around 600 years old when he dies in Return of the Jedi. So he could definitely, for sure, be alive in the Acolyte show. Yeah. Soundwave says, so Andor is up there for me because it's well-made television, full stop. Not even just Star Wars, just well-made television. I actually prefer Ahsoka because it reaches higher Star Wars heights for me, and it makes sense. I agree fully with that. Andor is just great television, well, Ahsoka is great television and great Star Wars television. Yeah. The other Jedi planted the seeds in Vernestra's mind to blame Sol for the deaths of the Jedi. Yeah, this could go down the route of blaming Sol for everything. Like, because the Sith can't return because it was retcon, the prequel trilogy would retcon The Phantom Menace, what Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith haven't returned for 1,000 years. They could turn around and blame this entire thing on Sol. Because one lightsaber wielder killed all these Jedi in the forest, and the only one who survived was Sol. It could be pretty easy to kind of just turn him into the bad guy if you're the Jedi. Yeah. So Luke, a Jedi Master, nearly struck down Ben Solo in his sleep, not the Jedi way either. That's true. It's not. That's why a lot of people don't like that version of Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Mike Ford says, I loved the Mandalorian. I really like the Acolyte. Sorry, not the Acolyte. Andor. And Obi-Wan and Ahsoka were meh, but I can't stand the Book of Boba Fett or the Acolyte. Well, I'm still glad you're here nonetheless. Yeah. When Sol leaves Kofar, when Sol leaves Kofar when he knew that Vernestra was just about to be there, it doesn't look good for him. Yeah, no, it does not look good for Master Sol right now. It's very easy for the Jedi Order to blame all of this on Sol. Yeah. Let's do a poll on what new Star Wars water cup that I'm buying Mike. That scratched up one from The Force Awakens is driving me crazy. It's The Rise of Skywalker. It's funny because it's probably my least favorite Star Wars movie, probably my least favorite Star Wars movie, and it's the giant cup that I drink out of every day. You can't replace this. This is iconic. It's more iconic than the movie itself. No, I'm kidding. Harrison says, Andor is peak but I get the argument that it's not Star Warsy enough. But I really enjoy seeing the everyday man in the galaxy and how even they can make an impact on the world of space lasers. That's true. It does give you a ground level version of what Star Wars is. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Trent says, I think if this show wasn't set in the Star Wars world, I would think it was much worse because the writing is pretty crap at times. I've heard the writing being crap at times a lot. And obviously, if you take it out of the Star Wars world, it's going to look bad. But the fact that it is in the Star Wars world makes the writing all that much better. All these, not only connections to legends, but connections to other aspects of Star Wars lore is what makes this show as good as I think it is. Yeah. Hello from Egypt? That's awesome. What's up, Ahmed? Ahmed says, saw every Star Wars show and movie. Acolyte still might have hope. I think the last episode reveal will be very good. That's awesome, Ahmed. Greetings from Egypt. That's so cool. Yeah. I've rewatched Naked Qimir several times, though. Oh, my God.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yikes. Okay. Maybe the scars come from Force lightning. Maybe. But when we see Force lightning and how it affects Star Wars, or how it affects people's bodies in Star Wars, it doesn't really give them scars like that. This looks like it's more from a whip, if I were to guess. And 83% of you agree with me. Brandon says, they purposely made the episodes short to get a second season, and we're going to have a lot more unanswered questions. Actually, I don't think so, because Leslie Hedland said that this first season is a fully told story. She wasn't saving parts of it for season 2. There's not going to be some big... I'm sure there'll be some unanswered questions, but the majority of them will be answered by the end of the show. Yeah. That's just crazy, Mike. All right, Swagger Like Us says, The Mandalorian would have been an amazing series if HBO owned Star Wars. Season 3 ruined the series and Grogu. I disagree. And if HBO owned Star Wars, it would be a disaster. A disaster. Yeah. The hatred is preached by on other channels that have a problem with everything that's non-George Lucas related. That is a problem with some people, for sure. If it's not George Lucas, then it's not Star Wars. And that's perfectly fine for them, but they're just not going to enjoy any other Star Wars, so why take your time out of your day to go complain and cry about it on somewhere else? That's my biggest thing. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. All right, I'm going to end this poll because it's not really budging, and there's almost 300 votes on it. Let's see where this poll ended out at. 83% of you do think that Vernestra Rwoh was Qimir's former master. To only 16%, the math is not mathing, but 16% of you saying no. Do you understand what that means? This means that Qimir is probably 100 years old, at least. And he's a former Padawan of Vernestra. He got the scar on his back because of Vernestra's laser whip, and that means that we're going to get the showdown of former master and former apprentice times 2. Osha and Sol, and Qimir and Vernestra. And Vernestra's going to come to the crazy reality that her Padawan from possibly 100 years ago is still alive and still looks the same, as he hasn't aged a day, which is going to be crazy. That's insane. I'm actually working on a full-on video about this that will come out tomorrow. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Hate gets clicks. That's what it comes down to. Oh, 100%. Hate gets clicks for sure. There's so many people online, not just Star Wars, but just in general, that make so much money off of just hate. It's sad. It's really sad for sure, but it's the truth nonetheless. That's honestly why I created this channel in the first place about 3.5 years ago, was to create an environment to have a positive Star Wars community where we can talk positively about Star Wars in general. That's why it's called A Guy Who Loves Star Wars. That's why the community is called The People Who Love Star Wars. If you're not yet in the Discord, there's a Discord in the description below to the people who love Star Wars. Go join it. It's completely free. Go join it. But that's why this whole channel exists, because negativity although it sells, I don't care. I'd rather have 160 of you watching here that love Star Wars or love talking about Star Wars and not just arguing with each other nonstop till the end of time than 6,000 of you here that are just going to shit on it. You know? It's not what we're here to do. Yeah. Soundwave says, I firmly believe that when The Mandalorian dropped on Disney Plus, it was intended to be pure Star Wars, but also very accessible to newcomers. But the deeper they got into Season 3, the deeper that they got into the lore and more general audiences got lost. Season 3 of The Mandalorian was a lot of fun and great Star Wars lore, but it didn't play as well to the general audience. That is true. In my take on Season 3 of The Mandalorian, although I do think it is the worst season of the 3, but Season 3 is the one that kind of ends the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars starts the whole Mandalorian arc with Bo-Katan and Satine and all this stuff with Maul and the Darksaber and all that. The Mandalorian Season 3 ends that. So it's years and decades of lore and building to this moment in The Mandalorian Season 3. Now, the only problem is The Mandalorian Season 3 feels so different than the first 2 seasons. It feels more like the Clone Wars and less like what The Mandalorian was. And that's sort of the issue that a lot of fans have. And I completely agree with you. It kind of lost its general audience, for sure. Yeah. Vernestra keeps muttering something is tipping the scales. So she is remembering a past encounter. Yeah, something tipping the scales. Her keeps saying that is very big. Because she's the only one who's sensing it, first of all. But it also could be something that maybe Qimir used to say, like tipping the scales, something, I don't know. Yeah. I'm writing the sequel to Rogue One in Andor Season 3 because one of us kids has to. The sequel to Rogue One? Is that a joke? Rogue 2? Is it going to be called A New Hope? Can I get in on this? Dodger says, I find it interesting that Tony Gilroy said himself that he wasn't a lifelong Star Wars fan, but he gets no grief for that. Yeah, I mean, it just fully depends on how fans interact with certain people. If somebody like a Tony Gilroy was to say that he didn't like Star Wars or wasn't a Star Wars fan before, and he didn't create Andor, if he created anything else, then they would have crapped all over him. But the fact of the matter is they don't care because the content is good, and that's kind of just all that matters. Yeah. Osha vs. Soul, Qimir vs. Vernestra with May as the referee. I'd watch that. I'd pay to watch that. I'd pay to watch that. Yeah. Robert says, I don't hate the show. I watch it, but the execution is really far off for me. I am trying to keep giving it the benefit of the doubt, but it's getting harder and harder. Hey, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's perfectly okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you have to love every Star Wars project. I'm not going to even sit here and try to change your mind on any Star Wars project ever. You like what you like, you don't what you don't, you know? No, thank you guys. Don't you thank me. I didn't do nothing. Yeah. UV Clips, what's up? UV Clips says, Vernestra is insanely suspicious. I wonder if she sent the Jedi to Brendok. Ooh, interesting. And if they got killed, by her or something. Idea if that would work though. No idea if that would work though. I mean, Vernestra could have been the one who sent the Jedi to Brendok to get rid of the witches for sure, because she's definitely old enough to be there. G says, hate is how I found you. Everyone I followed is filled with such hate, and I'm just tired of it. Well, then that's a good thing, I guess. If hate is how you found me, then that's a good thing. Keep the hate going. Yeah. I think Season 3, The Mandalorian being the worst of the 3 seasons, is pretty much a universal truth. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'm sure there's some people that think Season 3 is the best season. Not me, but I'm sure there's some people out there. But I agree with you. I think Season 3 is the worst of the 3 Mando seasons. Not to say that it's bad, but it's definitely not the best. Yeah. Michael says, great name, by the way. Well said, Mike. I don't think Star Wars fans can voice their disappointments. I do think Star Wars fans can voice their disappointments. Sorry. Not fair for people to say don't watch if you're not a Star Wars fan. I can complain about the Vikings sucking, but I watch them. Oh, the Vikings football team. Hilarious. Yeah, no, absolutely. You can watch whatever you want to watch, and you can voice your opinion on what you want to voice your opinion on. My problem, the issue that I have, is when people start attacking other people for liking something or attacking other people for not liking something. If I like something and I crap on you for not liking it, that's the problem. If I hate something and I crap on you for liking it, then that's the problem. We can dislike and we can like things and have a civilized conversation till the cows come home. What does that even mean? Till the cows come home? Till the cows come home. But once it becomes an argument, once it becomes a fight, that's when it becomes bad and not what the Star Wars fandom should be about. Yeah. I also hate... What? Oh, those are people. I get you. Oh, also hate free. I get you. Okay. I get you. What is that? Oh my God, it's Jackie and a steel chair. What? I don't know what you're saying there. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, moving on. Yeah. It's called Rogues, and no joke. They left Rogue One open to interpretation as they faded to white with Cassian and Jyn as they died on Scarif. But no one is actually dead in Star Wars until you see a body. So you're actually writing a sequel to Rogue One where Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor survive? I don't know about that one. I think they're definitely goners from that explosion of the Death Star. I mean, hey, I'm down for it, but that's definitely a fanfic of fanfics. For sure. Indeed. I wouldn't say death threats are nothing. And yes, you can say I like cake, and then somebody sends you a death threat. Death threats are extremely horrible, and nobody should ever be doing any of that. Yeah. Till the cows come home quite literally means sundown quittin' time. Yeah, I guess it obviously comes from farmers, for sure. Yeah. Indeed. I think we've all seen lower tier movies and shows with actual terrible acting. Yeah, no, this Acolyte show has incredible acting. From Manny Jacinto to Lee Shang-cha, but not even just those two. Like, let's talk about Amanda Steinberg for a second, shall we? She's playing both characters, and never once are you sitting here where Osha's on the screen and you're going, is that Osha or May? You know immediately which one it is. Like, that's impressive. This is the same girl playing both characters. That's incredible. But just the acting in general throughout this entire show is top tier. They purposely went out and got a large cast of people that are big-time actors. And it clearly shows. Yeah. It's funny. I was watching Attack of the Clones the other day, and I was actually watching A New Hope yesterday. And it's funny when you talk about dialogue and acting in Star Wars, because some of the stuff in the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy is very, for lack of better words, cringeworthy. And it's a lot of the acting and a lot of just the dialogue of Star Wars. But that's what Star Wars is. That's why we love it so much. It's so different than everything else. And even though the dialogue is cringy and the acting's a little strange, we love it nonetheless. Yeah, it's great. Attack of the Clones gets so much hate. It's wild. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, we've already been going for an hour and 45 minutes. It is the 4th of July, so we will be getting on out of here a little bit earlier today than usual. Yeah, for sure. Harrison says, I get dark side Kanan vibes from Qimir after the episode. His line to Osha about, if you've lost everything, then you don't have anything to lose. Very reminiscent of the last battle with the Grand Inquisitor. That's true, actually. And how he fights blind. That's true, too. Yeah, it is very Kanan-esque, this character. Darkside Kanan. That's a great parallel, actually, there. For sure. Indeed. No, thank you for saying that doesn't even make sense. Jedi Journey says yes, which is why they need to keep Soul. He's such a good actor. Yeah, true. I mean, the guy learned English for this show. So whether or not he comes back for season 2 might be fully dependent on whether or not he wants to continue to learn English. So flashbacks for episode 7. Okay, yeah, let's end this stream off on a high note, okay? Let's talk about predictions for the next episode. Episode 7. What do you guys think is going to happen in episode 7? Do you think it's all going to be flashbacks, some flashbacks, or what's going on? What is going on? I think we're going to see a lot of flashbacks, of course, to Brendok. I don't know if it'll take the entire episode, like episode 3 was just all flashbacks. I don't think that's the case here. I think we're going to get some current day stuff and then some flashbacks. At some point, we're going to be ending up going back to Brendok. Maybe that's in episode 8. I'm not too sure. But we're going to get to see Kelnaka versus Sol, Kelnaka versus Torben on Brendok. You're going to finally get to see what fans have been begging for weeks now, and that is a Wookiee Jedi in live action, in action. So we're finally going to get to see that. See if the Jedi are really the ones who killed the witches, why they killed the witches, how Qimir knows about all this. It's going to be a lot of information told in episode 7. A lot. Yeah. Rick says, I could learn any language for a script. Really? I don't speak any other languages, so I know how difficult it is to learn another language. But not only to learn English. The guy learned English and is now acting while learning English, which is extremely difficult. Like, I could sit here and go, hola, my name, me llamo. Is that my name? I don't know. I don't know other languages, but I'm not even going to try. But to take that and then bring it into acting scenes, like the scene in the forest between him and Qimir, it's incredible when you think about a guy who didn't know English. It is a lot of just memorizing lines, but you got to know what it means. You got to be able to act off of it. Qimir will be attending the function? Okay. I think episode 7 will be Sol telling May what happened. We will finally get to see the flashbacks to Brendok, and like he's telling a story. When Qimir tells the flashbacks as well, and Osha will see his side of that. So you think we'll be getting kind of 2 different sides of the flashbacks? That would be kind of cool. That would be cool. If Sol's telling May his perspective, and then Chimir's telling Osha his, that'd be pretty good. I don't know, Mike. Your Huttese is on point. Well, there you go. Maybe I could play Jabba the Hutt in The Acolyte. Disney, if you're watching, call me up. Hit me up. You know, I'll play Jabba. Did you hear my amazing Jabba impression? I could do it. I could do it. There's Duolingo. Give that a try. I guess. That's a large commitment to learn a different language. Brandon says, I think episode 7 is going to be mostly flashbacks. I agree. Qimir will be there on Brendok. The holocron. That brings up a big point. That would confirm that he's a lot older than he says he is. Or that he looks to be, at least. Because if he's in like his 30s, then 16 years ago he'd be like 14. Or something along those lines. 15, 16, 17. And he would be too young to sort of just be there on Brendok by himself for no reason. Yeah. So if he is there personally on Brendok, then that changes things. And if he's the same age as he is now, that would be crazy. Yeah. It's going to be mainly flashbacks, I agree. 7th is the truth. Finally, Sol will be redeemed, and he is saving Osha. He'll be redeemed? I don't know. I think Sol's going to be made to look like the bad guy once he finds out. Yeah, we'll be getting more Torben, more Kelnaka, more Indara. So the 3 characters that we didn't really get much of, we're going to see a lot of them. Yeah. Mike, who's your favorite character in Star Wars? In all of Star Wars? Well, let's ask the class. Chat, what's your favorite character in Star Wars? Just one. Mine changes a lot, but recently, for the last couple months at least, it's been Anakin. Probably the better half of a year, actually. It's been Anakin. And Anakin is my number 1. Number 2 is got to be probably either Ahsoka or Maul, and then either or is number 3. Ezra is probably my top 10. That's where it gets a little bit interesting, but definitely Anakin's my number 1. Yeah. Luke, Vader, Jar Jar, nice. Rex, Obi-Wan, Kit Fisto, nice. Dr. Hemlock's favorite character is Dr. Hemlock. That's unfortunate because he's dead, spoiler alert. R2, nice. R2's a good one too. Yoda, of course. Yoda's my number 2. Oh, there you go. Yoda's definitely in my top 10 for sure too. Obi-Wan's in my top 10 too. Anakin, yeah, Anakin's great. Anakin is great. According to Star Wars fandom, Qimir started training May in 148 BBY. Interesting. Ahsoka is number 3, nice. Basil's your favorite character? Vader, Rex, Tech, okay. Malgus, nice. Malgus is good. All right, I think I'm going to get on out of here. We've been going for about 2 hours now, and I really got to go pee. Plus, it is the 4th of July, so I'll let you guys go early so we can celebrate if you're in America. Light off some fireworks, eat some good food. Uncle Owen? I feel like you guys are just messing with me now. These aren't your favorite characters. There's no way your favorite character is Uncle Owen, Nick. I don't believe it. Not for 1 second. All right, but I appreciate all of you guys. Let me shout out the people for the very generous super chats. Rose, Jedi Journeys, Pam Hill, Secret Songs, Fide Jin. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Vexter, Tony, very generous super chats. And new members, we got Razor T and Mr. Revenge is not new, but he's got his 1 month member badge. I appreciate all you guys so much more than you will ever know. Let's celebrate one more time on our way out. 60,000 subscribers. Wow, I cannot thank you guys enough for that. 60,000 is insane. The road now starts to 61,000 and 62,000 and 65,000 and 70,000, 75,000, all the way to 100, where I will finally dump this entire cup of water on my head. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? I think we can. I appreciate all you guys more than you will ever know. Smash a like on this stream if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe. The power of 60,000. The power of many. There you go. Hit that subscribe if you have not yet. Hit that like button. How many likes we got on the stream? Am I going to be upset? Am I going to be upset? That's a pretty good amount of likes. If you have not yet, smash a like on the stream. Hit subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. In my pretty face will show up the recommended feed of yours. Go join the Discord if you have not yet. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate every last one of you more than you will ever know. And we are finally going to find out the truth of what's going on with Vernestra Rwoh next week, whether she's the master to Qimir or not, and whether she's kind of a corrupt Jedi. We'll also find out the truth of what happened on Brendok 16 years ago. Whew, we got a lot to look forward to. But until then, watch out for a video tomorrow. Watch out for a video the next day, and the next day after that, and the next day after that for the rest of your lives. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.